So yesterday, at the time of filming this, Rupert Lowe offered Nigel Farage a political alliance of sorts. And Nigel's response was basically, yes, unity is incredibly important. All of your supporters can join me. That wasn't the question. Now, to be fair to Nigel, since posting his original X tweet, whatever, he has said that he's open-minded about having discussions with Rupert, and apparently they have been reaching out privately. Good. I hope that goes somewhere, and I hope that is true. But I'm more interested in his first public reaction to it, because it made me wonder, does Nigel actually want to unite the right, or does he want to own it? Anyway, apparently we're now doing major public realignments on a Sunday now. Which is fine.
This is fine.
I personally thought that Sunday was meant to be for pretending you're not annoyed about Monday, but Rupert Lowe clearly had other plans for us all, because he released this 12-minute video basically saying, can we please, for the love of God, stop behaving like we physically cannot exist in the same political space. It wasn't a merger. He wasn't like, let's just all become one party and start arguing over the office kettle, but it was also just, let's not ignore each other and hope that things somehow work out electorally. It felt like a real offer. And before we're going to go any further, Rupert looked good. He did. He looked very fresh, very tanned. The shirt colour was doing something for him. And yes, I know that we're discussing the future of Britain, but if a man is going to appear on my screen for 12 minutes proposing the reunification of the right, I am going to notice whether he knows his colour season. I'm only human. But genuinely, I found the whole video quite moving. It felt like a really nice return to the launch video of Restore Britain. Because he was basically saying, whatever happened between us, whatever the drama is, the next election could be existential for Britain. So maybe the country now has to matter more than the feud. And I had this moment, I really did, where I was like, wow, could this actually be it? Could the right behave strategically for once? Just once. As a treat? Because there is something slightly ridiculous about everyone going, this is the last chance for Britain. Britain is in crisis. Everything is on the line. And the second someone says, you know what, maybe we should just work together. Suddenly it's all, well, I don't know, he was a bit rude to me. Come on. So Rupert lays out his things that he's not willing to compromise on. Protecting the white British population, protecting Britain's Christian identity, stopping the further spread of Islam in Britain, deporting illegal migrants who do not contribute to British life or who actively hate the country they live in, holding a referendum on the death penalty for the very worst crimes. And frankly, I can't look at that list and think that many people on the right would disagree with them. I would actually be willing to bet that there are some people on all sides who would agree with some of those points. But then he drops the slightly spicy one. No former Conservative ministers strolling into the next government after helping run the last 14 years.
Are we the baddies?
Awkward. Gosh, it's almost like a bad decision by Nigel led to people leaving the party and being unhappy about his decision, and now someone has given him a chance to fix that mistake. Maybe you should take it. Hint. Because Reform now has Robert Jenrick and Suella Braverman and, oh my god, the other one, whose name I've forgotten. Wow, I need to get better at remembering people's names. How have I forgotten his name?
To say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is.
You cannot spend years in government, switch parties when the vibes turn, and then reappear like, right, who wants me in cabinet? No. What did you think was going to happen? That we'd all just be like, wow, new Rosette, new man?
Surprise, bitch. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
If this is meant to be a clean break, it's fair to ask why the same people are still standing at the front. So Rupert makes this offer and he sets out his actual terms. He basically says the stakes are bigger than whatever happened between the two of them. And then Nigel's first public response was that tweet, which already, I mean, come on. Rupert gives us 12 minutes of eye contact and emotional serious, and Nigel sends back a post. Now, since then, obviously, he's had his press conference and he sounded like he's more open in interviews and he's happy to discuss things. Brilliant. I truly, truly hope that is the case. But I do think that first response is interesting because his answer was essentially, yes, it's existential. Yes, we agree on some things. Yes, we might need some kind of coalition and everyone is very, very welcome inside reform. So it's basically a no, but yes, but maybe, but no. I mean, yeah, he acknowledges that unity is important, but he acknowledges that unity is important under him.
I wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles and we'd all eat it, be happy.
And this is where I just begin to wonder. Because Rupert offered cooperation and Nigel sort of offered absorption. Everyone can come together apparently, but only by disappearing into his party. Rupert just said something along the lines of, can we stand side by side? And he said, no, you can stand behind me. Because for 12 glorious minutes, I thought that maybe the stakes had finally become bigger than the two personalities. And then I read Nigel's response and I just kind of thought, wow, are we still doing the kissing the ring thing? We're still pretending that broad coalition means everyone entering the Nigel Farage cinematic universe and just accepting their assigned role. And the more I watch it, the more I find myself wondering what Nigel actually wants here. But that's probably a whole other conversation because right now what we're watching is two men telling us that they're Britain's last chance. But they're still not really able to get in the room together. Because imagine losing the next election, having to explain that the votes were there, the public wanted change, everyone broadly agreed, but these two people still couldn't bear each other. I'm just going to say it, but Rupert's video made him look far more statesman-like to me. Maybe it was the shirt. It was a very nice shirt. But he spoke like the moment might be bigger than him. Whereas Nigel replied like the moment proved that everyone should be around him. And actually, maybe that's exactly what's happening now. Maybe after today, these two men are already having conversations, and I really genuinely hope they are. Because for 12 minutes, probably like you all, I felt quite optimistic. And if Nigel genuinely believes that this is Britain's last chance, then at some point he may have to decide what matters more, saving the country or being the only man allowed to save it. But as always, let me know what you think below. I really value your opinion. Do you think they will unite? I don't know. I think those kind of 5 lines in the Sam might be a bit too right-wing for Nigel, who still seems fixated on being the centre-right party. He still is very, very much not wanting to lose that centre ground. And I just don't believe people really sit in the centre anymore. I think there's only really one type of person who sits in the centre, and they're going to vote for the Lib Dems. But as always, let me know what you think below. I mean, do you think this is a chance for them to unite? I'm kind of torn. I kind of hope they do, and I kind of won't be surprised if they don't either. But the inevitability is that I'm going to be talking about this again, I don't know, sometime later on this week. It's just the way it happens. Anyway, let me know what you think below. And do think about giving me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.